Welcome to FineScale Modeler Weekly. Let's start by taking a look at Takom's new 1/35th scale M103s.
We have an M103A1, the second production variant powered by a Continental V12 gasoline engine, and an M103A2 powered by a turbocharged V12 diesel engine.
Now, since the A2s were converted from the earlier variants, it's hardly surprising that these kits share many of their parts. One of the things that I really liked when I opened these up was the casting texture on the turret and hull halves. Typical of this type of vehicle, the hull's molded in the upper and lower halves because it's a rounded hull, but you can really get a good look at this casting texture on here and on here.
There's also casting artifacts, as you can see right here, and casting numbers as well.
The road wheels have separate tires. Tires and outer rims, actually, which do a really good job of capturing the way that the road wheels on this vehicle had a kind of a outer rim. You also get good drive sprockets with the lightning holes molded in, and the road wheel arms that attach to the hull for the torsion bar suspension, which is actually appears to be workable and goes along with the working tracks that are made up of several parts each for each link. You have 2-part rubber pads, and they go around these linkages, the interlinking parts, and then the road wheel, the guide teeth here. So it'll be a little bit complicated, but they do give you a jig that will make it a little easier to do, and these things are grouped so that you'll be able to lower them into the jigs one at a time and build like 6 links at a time.
This will definitely be a kit for more advanced modelers if you're looking for a challenge.
Right. Another nice touch is the inclusion of 3 styles of the main gun. There is the plastic 2-part barrel for the standard uncovered mantlet. There's a metal barrel to go along with that. It's a beautiful piece of turned metal or turned aluminum for that. And one with the dust cover, which is a really nice touch for giving you that kind of texture. The fine parts are really nicely molded here. The main difference between the A1 and A2 is the engine decks for the different engines. This is the earlier style A1 deck with multiple louvers and grills all over the deck. And as we can see when we open up the A2 box, this is the A2 engine deck with the later humped style and the louvers around. This is much more like the M48 engine decks. You get the same choice of gun barrels on that one. One of the other differences is this has the later style open rear doors for the hull with the cooling louvers molded on. Again, very typical for like the M48 style hull as well. One of the other things you get in the A2 kit is the searchlight on the front, which you can see here. One of the other things to note about this kit is that all of the hatches are separate and appear to be posable, but there's no interior. So you're going to have to either build an interior to be seen through there or fill the hatches with figures.
I believe this searchlight also comes with some nice clear plastic.
So the A1 box includes decals, or marking options rather, for 6 Marine Corps vehicles, some of which were based in West Germany during the 1950s and 60s. And then the A2 box has markings for 4 Marine Corps vehicles, all stateside. So Takom's done a really nice job on these M103s. They're crammed with detail. And this is a vehicle that's only been kitted once before in plastic, but is really sought after by a lot of armor modelers, particularly those that are interested in American armor. So it's really good to see them.
And there's not a lot of ejector pin marks, and where there are, they can be easily hidden.
Yeah, good point. Next, we have another in HobbyBoss's ever-growing line of Russian vehicles, a 1/72nd scale 15U-175 transporter erector launcher of RS-12M1 Topol-M ICBM complex.
Known to NATO as the SS-27 Sickle B, this is one of the most recent ICBMs fielded by Russia.
The kit actually represents the transporter. The missile is housed in the tube on top.
Speaking of the tube, we have this really nice slide molded plastic part.
It is. This is a terrific piece of engineering by HobbyBoss. Look at these openings on this piece here. They go all the way through, and in some cases, the conduits appear to run right through them. What's really nice about this is that it appears to be a 3-part mold, but the biggest mold seam is right here, and this will actually be on the underside of the tube. And this is in an area that's fairly clear of other details, so it should be a matter of just running a sanding stick back and forth across it a few times to clean it up. The rest of the mold seams are hidden by the detail.
And the tube is completed with the nose and tail parts, which are also very nicely detailed.
Yes, so basically the tube is 3 parts, which should make assembly really quick and easy, and fairly easy to clean up too.
Speaking of nice slide molded parts, we have
the cabs that fit on either side of the missile tube. There are also these equipment boxes. Again, nicely molded detail. You get some nice texture, some hatches.
We also have some really nicely detailed, fine, small parts.
Yep. The kit actually includes an engine. You can see a couple of the parts here. These are the braces for to bolster it for the firing position. Just again, really thin, really well detailed. And again, a minimum of ejector pin marks, which is a nice touch. And the drivetrain is represented by basically a single part. So you get all of the drive shafts and the various transfer cases, more of the engine here. You're just gonna be able to clip that off and put it straight into, I think we have the frame here. You get the frame with internal details, the mounts for the suspension, should again speed assembly.
We also have these nice clear parts that come with masks.
They go in from the inside, so the pre-cut masks will make masking it after you've put it together very easy. And I think we have some tires. There's a lot of tires on this vehicle. There's 8 axles, which means 16 tires in total.
We also have these metal tubes, which help pose the missile launcher.
Yeah, they're for the hydraulic ram, and the missile launcher is actually movable, so you can have it in transport position or raised into the vertical launch position.
So finally, we have the marking options. These are some really nice decals.
And they give options for 3 vehicles, one in overall green, one that's a parade vehicle with the stripes down the side and the stars, and then finally, if you want a little bit of fun, you can do the 3-color camouflage, the modern Russian 3-color green, sand, and black, or spinach, sand, and black if you prefer. Just a really nice model of another modern Russian launcher that's engineered so well it should go together really quickly, and it's going to be about 12 inches long when it's done, so it'll be impressive on your shelf.
Next up, a kit back from the past.
Yep, we have Revell's 1/32nd scale Chevy Bison.
The largest conventional cab truck built by GM, the Bison was offered from 1977 to 1987.
Now this kit originated as a monogram snap-tight kit in the late 1970s, and as such, the parts are fairly simple, perfect for a beginner or something along those lines. You can see that the cab is molded as a single part with the hood and the sleeper cab included. Also relatively simple is the frame.
It's curbside, so it does have the engine molded on.
Yep, and you get a little bit of detail on the top also in the area where the 5th wheel will go. The brackets for the fuel tanks are molded on. Also simple, a 1-piece drivetrain and suspension. You get the differentials with the leaf springs for those rear axles. And
the interior is a single part.
you get a little bit of detail molded onto that dashboard, but not a lot. There's seats. So the tires are molded in plastic, and as you can see, they're open on the backside. A little bit of a concession to detail and simplification, but the front side has nicely molded sidewall detail, including names and some of those details you expect on tires, as well as tread. And then for a little bit of bling, we also have some chrome parts.
There's some nice chrome wheels to put the tires on.
Right. You get the fuel tanks in halves, horns, some of the smokestack detail, the engine grille with the Chevy logo, and the front bumper, which includes some spotlights along the bottom.
There's some nice clear parts as well, including this windshield with the wipers molded on.
And what's really nice about these Revell reissues is the decals. You get really well printed new decals for this one, which include 3 options for the stripes, very colorful, very typical of the 1970s.
Also the Big Sky logo, which is really nice.
The Big Sky Bison Jerky Company, no less.
Yes, as well as some license plates and dials for the dashboard.
Yep, should do a nice job of detailing up. A very simple, but again, it's only the only way you can get a Chevy Bison truck that I'm aware of is this kit.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's pretty simple, but still nicely detailed, so perfect for a beginner.
You might have to have a go at it.
Maybe.
Casemate sent us a couple books that we thought were interesting.
Starting with Carrie Jang's book about the HMS Victory.
Part of the Shipcraft series, the focus of this book is modeling the British 100-gun ship.
There's lots of nice pictures, diagrams, details.
It starts with a history of the ship, including its career. Then there's a survey of the different kits available,
Wooden and plastic.
as well as some detail sets. And then I think the best thing about it is that the last section, an appendix, is about the way that the ship's appearance changed throughout its career, which is really useful for modelers if they're modeling it at a particular point in time.
The other book is from a series entitled Pacific Profiles. Volume 8 covers Japanese Navy float planes in the South Pacific from 1942 to 44.
Using photos, paintings, and some really nicely done color profiles, this traces Japanese float planes unit by unit in the period of World War II that it covers. The aircraft covered include the A6M2N Roof, the E8N2 Dave, the E13A1 Jake, the F1M2 Pete, the E7K Alf, the E9W Slim, and the E14Y Glenn.
That's a lot of planes that it covers.
That is. These are both really nicely books that will be useful to modelers if they're building the Victory or Japanese float planes.
Finally, we have a neat 1/35th scale AR2 fire truck from ICM.
Based on the KAMAZ 43105 truck, it is fitted with a box that can lay more than 2.5 kilometers of hose.
So we're going to start with the drivetrain, engine, and frame parts.
Yeah, you get a nicely detailed frame, good engine. It's not a curbside kit. And the drivetrain, so you get, this is a 6-wheel drive vehicle, so you're getting live axles at all 3 positions, front and the 2 rear, springs.
Yeah, there's lots of really small parts that'll add nice details to the model. And then we have the cab.
Yeah, and one of the things I really like about the cab is the open vents. You can see there's the radiator grill, but there's also this vent here, and I don't know if you can see my finger behind it, but it's open.
The seats are molded in a couple different parts also. You can see that right here.
The doors are separate, and they have separate inner panels for nice detail. There's separate fenders. It's just, there's a lot of good detail in this again.
And then we have the box parts.
Yes. The box is fairly simple. There's no interior. If you know what the interior of one of these looks like, you can probably scratch build it. But what you do get is nice external detail, windows along the upper thing. There's a little hatch at the top.
There are some ejector pin marks on the back, but again, those are going to go inside. They'll be a lot easier to cover up.
There are separate doors, but as we mentioned, there's no interior to see if you pose those open.
We have some wheels here. They're molded in 2 different parts.
Inner and outer halves. Good hub detail though. Lots of good bolts and so forth. They should look really realistic.
Which are covered by the rubber tires.
Yeah, these are really good detail on these things. Nice tread, some sidewall detail as well. They're solid as opposed to some of the other tires that are hollow, but they're really nicely molded.
We also have the clear parts here, which make up the windows.
They go in from inside, so you're gonna have to mask those.
Unlike the last kit, the masking is not provided. But we have some really nice decals here.
Yeah, very minimal clear film on those, so they should be really easy to apply cleanly. There are markings for 3 Ukrainian city fire trucks. One from, I'm going to butcher this name, so I apologize, for Mykolaiv. One from Odessa, and one from Kharkiv. So this will produce a really pretty red fire truck that'll be a good contrast to the green and brown and gray trucks that you might have on your shelf if you build a lot of military vehicles.
And with the war in Ukraine going on right now, it's pretty timely.
Yeah, make a good diorama with one of these in it.
Look for reviews of the M103, ICBM launcher, Bison, and fire truck at FineScale.com.
Where you can find a ton of other great detail about building, painting, weathering, and displaying models.
And don't forget to head over to kalmbachhobbystore.com for tools including these pipettes, clamps, and part holders from Green Stuff World.
FineScale Modeler Weekly, brought to you by Hobby Zone USA, your source for hobby storage solutions, hard to find hobby tools, and aftermarket modeling needs.
Hello, FineScale modelers and scale auto enthusiasts. A few weeks back, we did a segment on how to use Liquid Plumr to remove chrome from plastic parts. Now, what was really cool about that is many of you left your comments and talked about the techniques or the products that you use to strip chrome off of plastic parts. And some of those really kind of piqued our interest. So there were 3 in particular. The first being Dawn dish soap. That interested us because you don't really think about Dawn dish soap as being able to handle something like chrome or paint. Straight bleach, which, yeah, makes sense because bleach is a component of Liquid Plumr, so why not? And then finally, degreasers. So some of you are talking about, like here, Purple Power. There are a couple of other degreasers that were mentioned. Extreme Orange, Awesome Orange. They vary in availability depending upon where you're at, definitely by country, but also within the United States by state. What we're gonna do is take a chrome part, like this wheel here, and we're gonna go and soak them in each of these products and see how well they deal with the chrome. We're gonna start with the Dawn dish soap. We didn't get a lot of guidance on how to use the Dawn dish soap to strip the chrome off the plastic part, other than leave it overnight. I haven't checked it, and I think if the dish soap is actually going to do the job, 18 hours should be plenty of time for us to gauge it. Well, just by looking at it, I would say that it's done something, right? That's definitely plastic under there. You can see that. It has affected the chrome. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it. Now, while it has affected the chrome, I'm not seeing that it has really done much else. I'm gonna go ahead and use a toothbrush. Well, actually, how about this first? I use a toothpick, because if the toothpick doesn't get rid of this, then I'm not too convinced that the toothbrush is gonna do it either. And like I suspected, I'm really having to crank on this to make any sort of headway. Now it is doing it. Let me get the toothbrush out here. So it is taking it off. I admit that. It's definitely taking it off, but this is me rubbing this with the toothbrush. And while it can do it, I am not enthusiastic about this approach to stripping the chrome off of that part. I'm really having to work at it. So after 18 hours or so, you know, I'm having to really work at this. Maybe if you leave it soak for another 6 hours, you know, a full 24, maybe that makes it a little bit better, but as of right now, yeah, it'll strip it, but either you need way more time or you're gonna really have to work at it to get that chrome plating off. So it's not doing the job, at least how quickly I would want it to be done. Another product that we were told is just using straight bleach. So I went out to the store, bought a small little bottle of bleach, and we're gonna go ahead and pour it into this bowl, put the wheel into the bleach, and leave it for about 10 minutes, which is about the same amount of time that I would normally leave parts in Liquid Plumr. Now, just to recap, bleach is a component of Liquid Plumr. Liquid Plumr also has lye in it, but I think bleach should probably be able to do the job. As quickly, I don't know, we're gonna find out. Remember, this is bleach. As with Liquid Plumr, you are not going to want to get this on your hands. You're not going to want to drink it. You are not going to want to wash your face or put it in your eyes. All of these things are bad. And in goes the part. So remember, eye protection and gloves when using it at all times. We'll be back in 10 minutes. So it's been like a second for you guys, right? Well, it's been about 30 seconds for us. This was unexpected. The chrome just simply disappeared off of the part. I'm gonna go ahead and move this wheel, and as you can see, I mean, it's stripped of the chrome. I'm gonna move it over here to the water, into the water bath, and then I went ahead and grabbed some more chrome parts because I want you guys to see how quickly this worked, because it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. I'll put my phone here, and as I place these in, I'll go ahead and start the timer, right? So here we go, because you definitely should see this. Now I know you're thinking, oh, this isn't very exciting, but you can see it is. Watch it make a liar out of me now, right? Oh, there it goes. So we're 35 seconds. So I was off a little bit. I was off a little bit in my calculations. It seemed fast, right? But it is still fast. So after about 2 minutes and, well, 24 seconds, or just about, we have chrome stripped off of these parts. Yeah, okay, so I had exaggerated earlier when I said it was 30 seconds, right? It seemed like that. Aaron and I were chatting, and all of a sudden I looked down and chrome was gone. Those are some clean parts right there. Now again, as I had said in the liquid plumber video, you're gonna definitely want to make sure that you rinse these off really well, under running water, and then let them dry. But that is right there. That's a part that has been stripped of its chrome in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm a believer on the bleach side of things. After the performance of the bleach, I'm not even sure we need to do this, but let's go ahead. It was a product that was suggested to us. This is a gallon of it, right? I mean, this is, for this sort of situation, that's a lifetime. This is a lifetime supply of this particular, wow, okay. Not easy to decant on that one. I've gotten it over the work mat already, so I'm a little not impressed. I'm gonna put this on the floor over here. But I'm gonna bring, after cleaning this mess up, I'm gonna bring my handy dandy phone over here again, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and put our part into the degreaser and hit start. Let's see how long this takes. All right, at about 6 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm gonna call it, because I think most of the chrome, if not all of the chrome, is gone. I'm gonna swap over here to our water, a quick rinse, and yeah, that last remaining bit of chrome, which was right down, well, there's a little bit down in here, you can see, that should be open. That's a molding issue right there, so that's not the Purple Power's fault. That is, that should just be opened up. But otherwise, majority of the other chrome is all gone after about 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So it did the job, not as well as the bleach did, but it did take care of it. In the previous video about the liquid plumber, I told you to go ahead and soak the plastic part for about 10 minutes because, well, that's been the common wisdom. But today I got thinking, man, I just watched bleach strip the chrome off of this part in no time. So, how long does it take with the liquid plumber? And let's just go ahead and do it the same way that we've been doing the other ones. The wheel into the liquid plumber. There it goes, and start. Okay, so in about a minute 24, minute 25, what we have here with the liquid plumber is a part stripped of its chrome. 10 minutes? Nah. No, obviously, not all chrome is created equal. Some's gonna be thicker than others. And when it comes to the actual number of seconds, the formulation of your solution is going to determine exactly how quickly. So to recap, here we have our Dawn dish soap. Obviously doing some work, but doing it slowly. This is the bleach, this is the purple power, and this is the liquid plumber. Now I think some of the commentary about the previous video really sort of revolved around the caustic nature of the liquid plumber. And I guess just as a little bit of editorializing, when we're building models, we use a lot of chemicals that aren't really very good for you, from super glue to plastic cement to the putties that we use. You don't want to really be inhaling the fumes of paints. We don't want to be inhaling those fumes for prolonged periods of time. You don't want to be touching them if you can help it. That's why we use gloves a lot. So that's the same thing with any of these. Now, obviously, the dish soap is probably the least harmful of all of these. But again, I'm not going to be spraying it in my eyes, or I'm not going to be gargling with it. I'm not washing my face with Dawn dish soap, and I wouldn't do that with any of these other ones. I'm still going to use gloves if I use this purple power or the bleach to make sure that it's not getting on my hands. I'm going to use eye protection just in case there's a spill, right? And that's what we should always be doing with chemicals, right, or products of a caustic nature. So just be careful. Well, before we get into the wrap-up, I just wanted to let you guys know about the FineScale Modeler June sweepstakes. That's right, we're having a sweepstakes the entire month of June, from the 1st to the 30th. And you can enter to win over $1,000 worth of plastic model kits from Revell and Airfix, Tamiya, ICBM, Atlantis. They've all donated kits for the sweepstakes, and it's going to be huge. So, next Thursday, June 1st, go to the link below. I think it's going to be finescale.com/June sweeps, and enter in for your chance to win this enormous prize package. After a marathon tooling around.
Yep. You covered a lot of ground on that one.
Well, I thought, let's go ahead and take some of those comments and see how it worked out.
It was great that you guys chose to comment about it and give us some suggestions.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for all of those suggestions.
So after that, in the middle of April, I went to Lebanon, Indiana to cover the Indy Invitational Model Contest down there, and great show, more than 500 models on the tables.
Yeah.
And I shot some video
You
while I was
did.
there.
You shot video there. I was not present at Roscoe Turner. I was in Milwaukee for NNL Milwaukee and covering that show for us. But you've got video, so let's take a look.
To the tape.
that was the video from Aaron at Roscoe Turner
That's right.
back in April.
That's right. And if you liked the models you saw there, you can check out a gallery at the link in the description, where are some of the photos that I shot at the show.
Yeah. And you know what? As always, you can email us at editor@finescale.com if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you can put them in the comments below.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
We're happy to be here. We'll see you next time.
Finally, we have a neat, sorry.
We have a neat something or rather that looks like a something or rather. It's got wheels, it rolls.
It's a fire truck.
Just relax about that. Sorry. No, not that relaxed.
If I were any more relaxed, I'd slip into a coma.
We did a segment on a few weeks back. We talked about. What are you doing?
I'm moving quietly. Just moving, all right?
I'm looking over and like, is there something wrong? Did I do something? I'm sure somebody's looking at me going, I wouldn't have poured it like that. Okay.
Sorry about that. It should just be the last 2 takes.
Go ahead and hit record. Oh, we got footage of me picking my ear. That's good.
Here, you want me to clean? You want a clean take?
Well, it doesn't matter now. They've already got it.